Yes, the concert was a success. But he made much less money than he had hoped. And he thought I had cheated him. So for a while I didn't work for him, which was unfortunate, because he had only his nephew to take my place.
Of course, I'll be needing some blotting paper, some chocolate, for my bowels. Get them when you go into town.
But I've got to study.
Well, of course you've got to study. Gained in life without diligence?
Nothing.
Nothing.
You have no idea.
Unless, of course, you prefer to squander the hours, or your evenings without nightmares. The billiard table, drinking, probably whores. Keep up!
Beethoven got no better in that respect as he grew older. Suspicious, jealous, easily offended, easily hurt, easily angered, and yet still so full of warmth and trust and generosity.
Will you be going this evening, drinking or gambling?
Of course, it was much harder for Karl than the rest of us. After nearly 10 years of existing between those extremes, he couldn't possibly have known just how much his uncle cared for him.
Money from this apartment.
Karl, it must be examination time soon.
Money? Yes, sir, in 2 weeks.
Well, good luck.
Real poverty, of course, always deserves our sympathy, but that young man, he lacks both poise and manners. Who's different? Oh, my little baby. Little trouser button. Well, sweet. He's cruel! And he's common. He doesn't deserve your friendship.
I have to go.
Where are you going? Come back! Come back! You'll be back here at 8 o'clock in the morning! Ludwig. I've got things for you to do!
Terrible, having a child. Catherine, do something for me. Take the boy out one evening and see if he's any good at billiards. Hmm?
After the huge canvases he'd used for the Mass and the Ninth Symphony, Beethoven now turned back to the most intimate musical form. In his final group of 5 string quartets, Beethoven was determined to take the form as far as it could go. And I think these pieces prove that he wasn't the first great romantic, as the history books often term him, but rather the last great classicist. It's as if he's saying, I represent the end of the road for the classical string quartet, and beyond me, there's only an abyss. Anybody who wants to write a string quartet now will have to find a new way. He's deliberately closing a chapter in musical history. The great B-flat major quartet is built from a sequence of 6 movements rather than the usual 4. It focuses on extremes of contrast both within and between movements, and extremes were exactly what characterized his relationship with Karl.
I mean, you don't know what it's like. Endless demands. And I'm never good enough. His son must be exceptional. And I'm not. And then there's my mother. I mean, she's my mother.
Lying to me, don't lie to your father. This is your mother's poison still in you. What? No idea of the sacrifice it takes to become a decent human being. Just get out! Go and get out! Carl! Carl! Come back. Carl? Don't do this to your father. Your father that loves you.
The absolute extreme of Beethoven's aggressive brutality exists, for me, in the last movement of this B-flat quartet. The Grosse Fuge is a relentless 15-minute assault on both the performers and the audience. In its insanely ambitious technical demands, it was also an assault on the composer. In his uncompromising self-expectation, we can hear Beethoven doing to himself exactly what he did to Carl.
Like that monster that spawned you. Stop it!
I shall never forget his face when he told me. My Carl has shot himself. The grief he felt was indescribable. What made it worse was that when they found the boy, he asked for his mother.
What reason did you have?
Tired of life.
You were tired of life?
My uncle tormented me too much. He tried to make me a better person. He only made me worse. Tell my uncle I want to hear nothing about my mother that is derogatory.
When Carl left hospital 2 months later, Beethoven's response was unusually well judged. It took him to the country to recuperate, and for the first time allowed him to decide on his own future, a career in the army. It was during this visit that Beethoven wrote his last piece of music, a new final movement for the B-flat quartet to replace the Grosse Fuge, which had so bewildered audiences and been pronounced unplayable by professionals. Having gone to the absolute extreme, Beethoven was now ready to pull back